Hi Evergreen, let's do Chapter 6, Lesson 5. You definitely need your graphing calculator with this one and your book and a paper and a pencil. Let's dig in. So the quadratic equation in standard form means you're going to take your trinomial and make it equal 0. And then you're going to use those numbers in your trinomial to give you this quadratic formula. So you're going to take your b coefficient, and whatever it is, you're going to add a negative sign to it. So if it's positive, it's going to be negative b. If it's negative, it's going to be negative b, which will turn it into a positive. Plus or minus. So just like our last absolute values, you're actually going to have two answers to these types of problems. You're going to solve it first with adding, and then all the way through with subtracting, and you will have a set of answers to these types of problems. So continuing on, we're going to take the square root of all of these numbers. So you're going to have b squared, whatever b is, minus 4 times a times c. And then you're going to divide all of that by 2 times a. Oops. Okay, and so here it is written again. This is how you read it. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of the quantity b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So if you've had a chance to listen to the song, the quadratic formula song, go ahead, because I want you to be able to have that memorized by the end of today. There may or may not be a pop quiz, so make sure you have it memorized. So let's go through number 1. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 16. So the first thing that we need to notice is that this is not equaling 0. So we need to get that done by subtracting 16 on both sides. And when we do that, we end up with x squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. So we did 9 minus 16 to get that. Now we have an a, which is 1 as our coefficient here. 6, that will be our b in the formula. And negative 7 will be c. So let's fill that in. And we have negative 6, that's the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of 6 squared, b squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 7. One thing I want you to pay close attention to is all these sets of parentheses. When you plug this into your graphing calculator, if you do not have these parentheses, your answer will be wrong. And so in order to avoid that, make sure you are setting your parentheses carefully. Underneath your radical, you should have one open set of parentheses at the very beginning and one at the very end. These are the two pairs that are going to go together, opening and closing your entire set of your operations underneath your radical. Next, within that, you're going to have your b squared section in one set of parentheses and your a times c times 4, so 4 times ac under another set. In between these two sets of parentheses, we're going to have a subtraction sign. So let's go over that. Open parentheses, and then another right after that. 6, that's our b, squared on the outside of the parentheses. Minus, open parentheses, 4 times 1 times negative 7, closed parentheses for this section, and then closed for the entire set of operations underneath the radical. Just want to be very clear that it's very important that you do your parentheses correctly. Okay, you're going to hit enter, and then we will divide by 2. We're actually going to go to a video and show you how to do this. We're going to put this entire thing through our calculator once with adding, and then we're going to rewrite the entire thing in our calculator with a subtraction sign instead. And so we will have two sets of answers, 1 and negative 7, giving us a set of 1 and negative 7, which could be solutions to this quadratic equation. Okay, so we're going to watch this video and just see exactly how to do it. Okay, so we are going to plug this quadratic formula into our calculator. So our first term is negative b, which is negative 6. We're going ahead and going to solve it with the plus first. So plus, then we're going to write the square root. we're going to have an open parentheses for all of these operations, and then we're going to have an individual open parentheses around each little set of like operations. So the first one is b squared. So we're going to have 6 squared, close parentheses, minus, open parentheses, 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 7, closed parentheses, and then another set of closed parentheses for the whole set of operations. So we'll have open parentheses at the front and a closed parentheses at the end. And then we'll have a set of parentheses around our b squared, separated by the operation of subtraction. And then we'll have a set of parentheses around the second set of operations, 4 times a times c. From here, you're going to go ahead and hit enter. And then now we're going to deal with our denominator. And this little part, we can say divided by, and it takes our answer from our numerator. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this in my head. 2 times a is 2, so divided by 2, then hit enter. Our final answer is 1. Okay, and so like I said, we actually have to solve this twice. Once for adding and once for subtracting. And so now I'm going to show you how to do the subtracting, which is exactly the same way. But just to be clear, let's watch. Okay, now let's solve this quadratic formula for the minus. So it's plus or minus, so now we're going to do the minus option. So we have negative 6 minus the square root, open parentheses. We're going to have an parentheses around our b squared, which is 6 squared, close parentheses, minus, open parentheses, we have 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 7, close parentheses, and another close parentheses around the whole numerator underneath this radical. Hit enter, and now we will have divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 1, which is 2. Then we hit enter, and this answer is negative 7. Okay, so this shows us how to get our first answer. Let's move on to number 3. I'm not going to show you what I'm plugging into the calculator. From now on, hopefully you can do it by yourself. So we start off with x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 25. We need to get the right side of our equation equaling 0. So we're going to subtract 25 from 4. 4 minus 25 equals negative 21. And now we have an A, a B, and a C. Now the tricky thing about number 3 is the last time we had a positive B, and this time we have a negative B. We have a negative 4. So watch what we're going to do when we plug it in. Our equation says negative B. So therefore, when we write our equation, we are going to write negative B. And this is B. So I'm going to put it in parentheses just for us to see that visually, that we are going to keep the subtraction sign from our equation and write B exactly the way it is, which negative B's end up being a positive B, but we're going to go ahead and show all of our work by showing this step. Plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 21, closed parentheses, close parentheses. Now remember, you need a set of parentheses around your entire radical underneath it and also around each b squared and then your 4ac. Once you hit that, enter, and then you're going to say divide by 2a, which happens to be 2 again, and your first set should be 7. Now we're going to solve again with subtracting instead of adding in this section right here of our equation. So in your calculator, you're going to write negative parentheses, negative 4, close parentheses, minus the square root of open parentheses, negative 4, close parentheses squared, minus the open parentheses 4 times 1 times negative 21, close parentheses, enter, divided by 2, and you will get negative 3 this time. And so our set of solutions are 7 and negative 3. Okay, let's do number 5. Let's make this equal 0 by subtracting 42. When we have 1 minus 42, we get negative 41. Now our trinomial is in a wonderful set up to do the quadratic formula. So let's solve this. B squared is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 41. Enter. Divided by 2 equals 5.48. We're going to do it again, except subtract this time. So negative 2 minus the square root of 2 times 2, or 2 squared, minus 4 times 1 times negative 41 equals, divided by 2, negative 7.48. These are our two solutions to this equation. Number 7. Let's make this equal 0. Let's subtract 2001 from 81, and we get negative 1920. So 1920. So the opposite of B. So negative 18 plus the square root of negative 18 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1920 equals, divided by 2, is 53 and 73 hundredths. Let's type it in again, except subtracting this time. Negative 18 minus the square root of negative 18 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1920, enter, divided by 2, equals negative 35.73. These are our two sets of solutions to this equation. Number 9. Let's make this equal 0. Subtract 98.6 from 16. Next, let's write our equation. X equals negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 82.6 equals, divided by 2. Our answer is 5.93. Solve this again with the negative sign, and we will have negative 8 minus square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 82.6, enter, divided by 2, equals negative 13.93. These are our two sets of solutions to this quadratic equation. Okay, number 11. Let's subtract 29 from 36. We get 7. Let's write our quadratic equation. Negative 12 plus the square root of negative 12 squared minus 4 times 1 times 7 equals, divided by 2, solution is 11.93. Let's do it again and subtract. Negative 12 minus the square root of negative 12 squared minus 4 times 1 times 7. Enter, divided by 2, equals 61 hundredths. These are our two solutions to this equation. Number 13. Subtract 8.6. We get 91.4. Let's plug in our equation. B squared, so not B squared, the opposite of B. So negative 20 plus the square root of negative 20 squared minus 4 times 1 times 91.4, enter, divided by 2 equals 12.93. Let's solve it again with subtracting. Negative 20 minus the square root of negative 20 squared minus 4 times 1 times 91.4 equals, divided by 2. Our solution is 7.07. These are the two solutions to this equation. Number 15. Let's add 4 this time to get it to 0 on the right side. Let's write our equation. Negative 6 plus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 13. Enter, divided by 2, equals. Ooh, you know what? What did your calculator say? Did it say error? It should have, because I wanted to show you this part. If we did negative 6 times 2, we'd get 36, right? And then 4 times 13 is 52. 36 minus 52 will give us a negative number. Can you take the square root of a negative number? No. And so therefore, this has no solution. Number 17. Let's subtract 49, and we end up with our C being a 0. That's okay. Keep solving. If you ever see something weird like that, just keep solving, okay? Because it's probably going to work out. So minus B, so minus 14 plus the square root of 14 squared minus 4 times 1 times 0, enter, divided by 2, x equals 0. Is that okay? Yeah, 0 is a number. It could work. Okay, let's do it now with subtracting. Negative 14 minus the square root of 14x minus 4 times 1 times 0, enter, divided by 2, x equals negative 14. These are the two solutions to this quadratic equation. Next, 19. Oh, it already equals 0, so we don't have any extra steps on this one. We just get to start solving. So b squared negative 10 plus the square root of 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 25, enter, divided by 2, x equals negative 5. And now let's subtract. Negative 10 minus the square root of 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 25, enter, divided by 2, x equals negative 5. And so since it's the same number, no matter if we add or subtract in our formula, we're just going to write it once. There is only one solution, negative 5. Okay, let's hop down to some review questions from last time. So we have the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 36. Now, the absolute value is just the distance from 0. That could be only a positive number, but because it's inside the absolute value, x could be positive or negative and still give us a positive 36. So we are going to solve this twice. Once with x minus 5 equals 36, and then we're going to solve it again with x minus 5 equals negative 36 to give us both possible solutions of this absolute value equation. So from here, it's pretty easy. You add 5 and x equals 41. Write it out again, except equaling negative 36. Add 5, x equals negative 31. Our set of solutions are 41 and negative 31. Let's do it again, just to remind you how to do this. Absolute value, this x could be positive or negative because it's in the absolute value brackets. Therefore, we're going to solve it twice. Once equaling 2,000 and once negative 2,000. So minus 300, x equals 1,700. X plus 300 equals negative 2,000. Subtract 300. X equals negative 2,300. These are our two solutions. 37. Let's remember how to do this one. So when we square a number, this could be a positive 6 and it would be 36. This could be a negative 6, and negative 6 times negative 6 would also give us a positive 36. And so therefore, when we take the square root of both sides, we need to turn this into an absolute value. Now 100 is a nice even square, so it turns into a 10. And we're going to solve this twice, once for x equals 10, and then once for x plus 7 equals negative 10. Okay? So we subtract 7, x equals 3. We solve it again, making x plus 7 equal negative 10. Subtract 7, x equals negative 17. This has two solutions, 3 and negative 17. Okay, y'all are so smart. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.